Hey everyone, my name is Yesenia Manqueros. I am a third grade Spanish dual language immersion teacher, which means I teach in Spanish. And I am currently working on my master's degree in instructional technology at Kennesaw State University. The title of my capstone project is Academic Language Acquisition in Dual Language Immersion Spanish Classrooms Through Technology Use in Science. It's long. The problem that I was seeing was that my non-Spanish speakers and my Spanish speakers were both having trouble reading, writing, and speaking the academic vocabulary in science during my lessons, and this was not being beneficial to them because they were losing focus during discussions, and the students were having trouble maintaining the academic language, but also acquiring the new knowledge. Yes. So my capstone project plan was that I was first going to involve DLI families in using resources to improve academic language in the subject area of science. And then I was going to increase the participation in students during science lesson by using Web 2.0 tools, such as Google Translate. To increase academic language use in science for DLI students at my school, Mapleton Elementary, my goal was to raise it or increase it by 60% at least. And then my fourth thing that I was going to do was that at least 60% of all DLI students from 1st through 5th grade would be able to access the materials to increase academic language through CTLS, which is Cobb County School District's learning platform, online learning platform that they created. So the plan was to start out presenting the idea to 3rd grade DLI families and teachers in spring of 2022. Then presenting the idea to Spanish DLI educators at Mapleton Elementary School. And then creating a shared document where different types of Web 2.0 tools would be added by DLI educators, specifically Spanish. After that, the resources of Learning A to Z, Generation Genius, and Boom Learning, and also Legends of Learning was starting to be used in the classrooms, as well as Discovery Education, Benchmark Universe, and Quizlet. DLI families from 1st through 5th grade at Mapleton Elementary School were sent information home about how to access this through CTLS, depending on which resources the DLI educator chose from the shared document that we had, depended on what they thought would be most effective for their learners. Lastly, the last step of this plan was to for the students to use the resources at home every day, as well as in school, to see growth. The evaluation plan, how we were going to evaluate this, was at the beginning, a survey was going to be sent out to Spanish DLI educators at Mapleton Elementary School with questions about what type of Web 2.0 tools were currently being used in their classrooms, and the success of the project would be evaluated by data shown using resources of each Web 2.0 tool that was chosen by each educator. It would also be evaluated by the data from weekly quizzes on science vocabulary to track students' progress. And then around mid-July, both 3rd grade students and their families would be sent home surveys to evaluate how helpful the resources have been with Spanish homework and things like that. At the end of the school year, DLI families and teachers and students were provided with another survey to report the feedback about the resources that were provided to them. And feedback about any increase in Spanish science vocabulary that parents have seen or the teachers have seen in their classrooms. After each of these evaluations, changes were made and resource lists and goals were updated to be used in this new school year, now as an established thing that we're doing. So the description of this experience, honestly, this experience was really helpful in my classroom and in Spanish classrooms in general. I think it was more beneficial in the third through fifth grade classrooms than it was for the younger grades, just because students in these grade levels know how to use the resources, they know how to log on to the things, they know their passwords. If not, then they have like some place to look for those things and access that. My students ended up using a lot of Google Translate, and we used a lot of Quizlet and things like that to help with vocabulary games and stuff that could benefit them for learning the academic language and starting to use it. This made their academic language increase in science, but then they started using it for other subjects too, and it ended up benefiting them in using the target language. And during our discussions, they weren't as lost anymore. They would pay more attention. When they would see a word that they knew, they would say, "Oh, that's this in English," and it really helped them. The results of this capstone experience were that students acquired not only the target vocabulary language, but also more academic vocabulary language from other subjects and better language skills in Spanish, as well as English for the ones that were learning English. So this was beneficial to both the Spanish-speaking students, native Spanish-speaking, and the non-Spanish-speaking students that were not as fluent in Spanish, and the ones learning English. The English language learners also benefited from this. So overall, this capstone project was very beneficial in my Spanish classroom. I had no idea I was missing so many little details when I was creating this plan, because in the plan I should have noted when each resource was going to be shown, or not shown, what is it called? Demonstrated to the students, modeled to them individually. I had no idea it was going to be a little bit more time than I had anticipated to show the students each one of the resources and walk them through each step about how to log in, how to use each game or each resource in the way that would benefit them. So my timeline was a little off, but we ended up making it work. My students benefited in seeing, especially through Quizlet, the cognates of the English vocabulary and the Spanish vocabulary, and seeing how they were similar and making connections between both the languages. We ended up making a lot more bridging activities that would help with that also, and the students really benefited in seeing both of those together. So yes, copyright acknowledgements. I mean, the use of all these Web 2.0 tools were so beneficial, and the rest will be listed here. Thank you so much for your time. This was a really great experience, and I will continue to be using these resources in my classroom as a Spanish dual language teacher so that my students can benefit and increase their academic use in all academic subjects. Thank you.